Welcome everybody to a quick tutorial about useActionState within React. Some people were wondering what is useActionState. UseActionState is actually a hook within React that's beneficial if you want to do any type of form actions or synchronous state updates. So there's actually three different parameters within useActionState. One is the action itself, which will perform the asynchronous updates or do any type of form actions that you want to either update or save information to the backend. Two, the second parameter is the initial state where you can put anything. At this moment, I put null. And three is the permalink. And that's an optional parameter, but it's useful if the browser needs to navigate back to the page where the form action took place. Within the use action state, it returns three different values with an array. It's the response, which is the state in itself. You can call it whatever you want. The action, which is the method that's going to call the first parameter, and it is pending, which will be the visual feedback that's happening once an action is being taken place. So let's say, for example, in example one, where this is supposed to be an example of me signing in or creating a user. Within that, I have just a simple function. I have the action state, and there's a sleep here to just at least be able to see the is pending visual feedback a lot better. And then it just does a simple validation where it checks if any of the fields are empty, and if it is, it's just going to return fields are empty. And then if everything passes, it will call this function. It says user has been signed in. So we're going to just not sign anything or not do anything, just hit submit, and you see the pending action happen, and it returns the state of the response of one or more fields are empty. But if I start inserting information in here, so I'm just going to put this, you will see that it will return user has been signed in because all the fields have been filled out. And it also shows within this action, it gives you the previous state here. And previously it was null. That's why in the first console log, it was null. But in the second parameter, it was one or more fields are empty because when I first submitted it, I submitted with empty fields, and that was going to be the next previous state. But on the third or on the second iteration of me actually filling out the information, everything passed because the user has been signed in. Let's go to example 2 here. Example 2 is pretty much the same thing, but I do want to showcase the fact that within example 2, you can treat it in a reducer-like manner where you have the type and the payload like I have here. So I have the type and value in the action payload. And in here, you can add burger, remove burger, add pasta, etc. So as you see here, as in this pending is happening, you see a process order is happening, and you see the total of a burger and the amount that the burger has been added. If I want to add a second burger, the state will update, and it will update the total and the amount of burgers. You can update margarita as well. You can update pasta as well. And if I wanted to take out margarita, it will change the total. If I want to take out pasta, nothing's going to really happen because there has never been any pasta in the beginning. So if you wanted to create a state-like system by having different types, you can do it similarly to Redux as well. But let's skip over to example 3 here and go into example 3. And here is pretty much the same thing if you wanted to change a different type of coffee. So you have iced coffee, and this is $3.99. Or, you wanted to change it to lavender macchiato coffee. I don't even know anything about coffees, but if you wanted to have different type of coffees, let's look into the action state. And the action state originally is null. You have no response, but within the action payload, it creates an object where we'll have the name, the style, and the price. So once I hit the order coffee, which will actually evoke the action state, in the action, it will just send you the sending order. And the sending order just does like a simple sleep method again and just stringify the coffee and return true. And then it'll say the action has been ordered. So let's just order some lavender macchiato coffee. and you get the loading state when it is pending, and it tells you one lavender macchiato coffee has been ordered. So that's all I wanted to share in terms of the use action state. Is really good for any type of form actions you want to take place, or asynchronous actions that you want to have some type of visual feedback while something's being processed, and getting also the information back once the information has been processed, or whatever logic that needs to be handled or computed can be returned back as a state. Other than that, have a good day.